Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and this is another edition of No Capes, where I talk about comics that don't have to do with superheroes, and either Ethan doesn't read or he doesn't review along with me. First up, I'm going to talk about The Creep, number 3. First off, this is an excellent cover. It just has a lot of atmosphere to it and whatnot. I believe that the next issue is the final issue, and I'll be curious to see how it ends. This is a really interesting issue. Our main character here, Axel, is gone off into basically the kind of the wilderness where the boys and the grandfather were camping at. He's following the grandfather, who's kind of gone off his rockers completely and is off out in the wilderness somewhere, lost. They kind of report this to the police. So he's hoping the police will be there and will help him do a search. He rides this long bus ride with lots of delays from snow and stuff like that. He has some dreams about bears and the kids, and you're not sure exactly what all is going on with it, as far as his just kind of crazy dreams. He gets to this place where they used to camp at, and there's two other sheriffs there to help him search. Not a big search party, just two other people. And he kind of points out that kind of sucks. It's going to be hard. They send him off up a hillside, tell him not to wander off into the trees. They give him a flashlight, they give him a radio, and tell him to make sure he's got to get himself turned around before it gets too dark and starts walking back. Otherwise, he can become a victim lost out in the forest also. Snow is coming down, all kinds of craziness. He wanders off into the wilderness, determined to hopefully not get himself lost also. He finds some blood and some holes dug in the ground. He follows these holes, which takes him off the path, but he figures he can follow the holes back. He does come... all these holes keep going along, like somebody's been digging places. He does finally find the grandfather. Grandfather looks pretty much frozen to death next to a hole that looks like he's hand dug with his hands. No idea what the heck is buried. I thought I had this plot figured out a couple issues ago. Now I'm not 100% sure that I do. Or if I do, I don't understand the whole hole digging thing and stuff. So I'm really curious. To see where this goes. It's been an interesting read. And enjoyable and a little bit different, kind of a detective story, interpersonal kind of a thing. Been very much enjoying it. And like I said, this cover, it's a painted cover, and it just has a lot of atmosphere. It's a really, really, really great cover. I don't know if on video here is really picking that up. But, I really enjoyed this. And I'm looking forward to the final issue. I'm looking forward to seeing what kind of answers we get, if any, really. And I think I'd be interested in reading other miniseries down the road of The Creep. It's just been a little bit different, detective kind of a story. Nothing too crazy, really. No over-the-top psycho killer or anything like that. And just kind of interesting, the interpersonal stuff and whatnot. Just been kind of an interesting little detective-type story. Next, I'm going to talk about BPRD, Hell on Earth, Return of the Master. This is number 3 of 5, and this is issue 100. Finally have figured out how these things numbered, and now they're going to a regular numbering system, even though these things are typically written in miniseries type form. They are all each arc is all strung together, and so now they're going to this numbering system of what the actual number is, and this is issue number 100. Very interesting if you're into the whole BPRD thing. The spirit of Rasputin, they are working on a body to put him back in, but instead of the spirit of Rasputin going to this new genetically hybrided body, instead it seems that he has possessed some cultist that's living up in this castle, who is summoning all kinds of creatures to rain hell down on everyone. And in this case, there is a unit of BPRD that is going up to this castle that he is at, and they keep launching more and more vicious type things. Meanwhile, back at the BPRD camp compound, there's a young girl there who can't seem to get along with anybody. She seems to be somewhat of a psychic. They're trying to get her to use her psychic powers more effectively. And she's basically just putting everybody off because she has this feeling. And they finally ask her, well, what's that feeling? And her feeling is that it doesn't really matter, that none of it matters. She doesn't really need to try and be friends with anybody because it just isn't going to matter, which could be very foreboding when you're talking about a precog. I'm really enjoying it. Tyler Cook's art is really great. The Dave Stewart colors, of course, are excellent. If you like kind of occult, paranormal activity type stuff and a government agency trying to stop the end of everything, might be worth picking up. I think it's pretty cool. This having Rasputin come back and all the implications of Rasputin coming back and a couple of Nazis that have been secretly hidden, scientists that have been hidden away, trying to bring him back. All looks like it could bring up some really crazy stuff going forward. And I just generally enjoy this. It's kind of a cool kind of a thing. If you're into that stuff, it might be worth picking up. Okay, and lastly for this time, I am going to talk about Saucer Country number 9. The story this time around was a little confusing. There's an attempt on our main character's life. We're not exactly sure who's doing that. The ex-husband is still having massive hallucinations, or these things are really happening to him. It's really hard to tell. This issue didn't seem to have a whole lot of content, per se. It added more elements of who knows, we don't know what's going on kind of thing, without any real leads or answers or anything. Most of the issues have given us some sort of a nugget of some sort to kind of grasp a hold of. This one didn't really have any of that. This one felt a little more scattered and not really having any actual content in it. There's a little bit of political maneuvering in this as far as her actual election goes, which is interesting. But I don't know, this issue kind of felt kind of flat for me just because it felt kind of all over the place. There were a lot of loose tangents, and the storyline through those loose tangents didn't seem to really connect very well. I've liked every issue up until this point, and I don't hate this issue or dislike it. It just felt very very scattered. So hopefully the next issue kind of puts some of this stuff in a little bit of perspective for us, so we have some idea of what's going forward. Anyway, that's it for this issue of No Capes. Keeping these as short and sweet. I'll catch you probably in a few days with another No Capes. Have a good one, everybody.